Welcome to Small Steps. My name is Seth Potts and I want to show you mixed absolute and relative references. In the previous video we discussed absolute references. In Excel, absolute references when you reference a cell that you do not want to change when it is copied or moved to another cell. So that is keeping just the row and column the same. So what I have here is an example of a couple different crime types and a couple years worth of data. So showing kind of without a reference how these cells and cell references move when they're not absolute, just completely relative reference. We have this right here is just a simple formula to calculate the percentage change from one year to the next. So we have comparing 2019 and what that percentage change is from the previous year. So 155 to that 150. Just a formula here. So we don't have any absolute references. It's just going to be pure relative reference. So when we copy that formula to the right, and then we look at that, you could see how that moved. So it moved from B4 and C4, and it moved them over to the right one the same way we moved the formula. And this would be the same when I move that down. You can see how that moved both of those straight down. So that is the typical movement relative for this. So the problem here is if I'm not wanting to do just year to year, say we had 2018 had the numbers there, and let's say 2019 we had started a new program. Maybe we started like the DDAX program for the directed patrol, or we got new cameras in, or just any other kind of directed patrol, anything like that you're trying to affect some change in these numbers. And so I'm thinking these programs might take a few years to start getting the numbers we want to lower in these crimes. So we have these numbers for several years, but we're not wanting to do the year to year. We want to compare everything to that last year before we made that change. So what I would do, I don't want to make an absolute reference because I want to be able to move this formula to the right as well as is down, and without having to redo this formula over and over. So looking at the formula, this C4 reference here, that's one that we don't mind moving either left or right or up or down. That one can move in a relative fashion just the way we've been doing it. This one, however, we want this reference to stay in this B column. We're fine with it moving up and down to change the crime types, but we don't want that moving to the right along with this other cell reference here. So when you go to and click on this, two ways you could do it. You could either just put the dollar signs in, or you could press F4. And you see when you press F4, it makes this an absolute reference. Now, the dollar sign in front of the column and then in front of the row, right now this is locking both of those in. So if I moved or copied this over to the right or up or down, it's going to stay exactly on this cell. In this case, we want to press F4 again, and right now it has it where the column can change, but the row will not change. I'm going to click it one more time, and this is the one we want. So this B column is locked in, so no matter left or right, however we move that, is going to stay in the B column. The row number, however, we're not going to have that as an absolute reference. So when we're moving left and right on row 4, it will stay 4, but when we move and copy this formula down, it will keep in the B column, but the row will move from 4 to 5, 6. So we're going to do that with both of these. So when you have it like you want, so works the same there. So this is what happens when we move it to the right. You can see the reference stayed the same there. The B column stayed the same, and since we were staying on the 4th row here, that stayed right there for B4. This one, D4, this moved to the year. So this effectively is comparing 2020 to our numbers in 2018, and same for 2021. It moved that over but kept that the same. So we can select all of that even and copy that straight down. Now look what it did when we moved it down. So C5 is selected here, so that relative movement is just how we want it to be, so it can move up and down rows as well as left and right. This reference over here to the 2018 numbers, it stayed on the B column because we just moved up and down on the B column, but the row, since we didn't lock that in, that fourth row moved to the fifth row. So now, with just that one formula, we were able to move this formula to the cells to the right to follow the years, as well as move it down to change the different crime types there. And in the end, I mean, this is kind of hopeful what you see with something like this. You can compare all this for multiple years compared to 1 year, and you can see in the end, you can start seeing that decrease from 2021 to that last year without whatever new program or cameras or whatever you implemented, and you can see that percentage change from that original year. If you found this tutorial helpful and would like to see more, click like and subscribe. Next video coming up is going to be over sorting with custom lists.